All right, mic on, mic's on. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm going to talk about making work a little more fun and maybe making your advertising a little better without fear. So what is TechStyle? TechStyle's vision is to reimagine fashion, to try to create the world's most innovative and admired fashion company. We're not done achieving that mission yet, but we're excited about the way we're approaching it. And I'm going to speak a little bit about how we do that work. We are a portfolio of e-commerce brands. You may or may not have heard of TechStyle, but hopefully you've heard of some of these brands. We've got the Just Fab brand, Shoedazzle, Fab Kids, Fabletics, and most recently we added Savage X Fenty, which is Rihanna's lingerie line that we launched last year. What do? We not only run digital fashion businesses, but we do it with a membership take. So all of our brands within the portfolio go about the business of trying to encourage a deeper relationship with our consumers, with our customers, by encouraging them to join a flexible membership shopping program, which we think is a great value exchange between the business and the customers to be the first place they go when they're looking for shoes or activewear or lingerie. By the numbers, we were founded in 2010, so we're coming up on a decade. We have those 5 brands that you saw on the prior page. Over 5 million active VIP members. Those are people who are currently active in that flexible membership shopping program that I just described. We're in 12 markets, primarily North America and Europe, and we've got a pretty large following across all the social channels. A little visual, here's the Just Fab brand, Shoedazzle, Fab Kids, Fabletics, and Savage X. So when they asked me to come up here and speak with you all, they said one of the big themes of this conference is what's the difference between performance marketing and brand marketing, and how does TechStyle think about that? And do you have separate initiatives and separate endeavors toward each of those goals? And we pretty fundamentally believe that marketing is marketing, and that what we do is we drive consumers into these businesses today. We do really great customer acquisition. We build the brand over time. It matters not only the advertising that she sees, but what's in the box that shows up on the door, what's in the store experience if she visits one of our Fabletics stores. And so we believe it's our job to be really grounded in goals of acquiring new customers and doing that in a way that builds the brand over time. We do this in a very data-driven way. And I want to just emphasize how important that is, because it fundamentally creates freedom. If you know what you're playing for and you're super clear about the goals you're trying to achieve in that work, it gives everyone the opportunity to innovate and bring their best selves and work really autonomously toward a goal with a really clear outcome. Sort of gone are the days of who likes this creative, is it, I like that one better, I like that one better. We put it out there and we let the people tell us what they like. So the whole orientation is shifted and very, very deeply consumer focused on letting the people tell us what they like. How do they tell us? They tell us by responding to our ads. We run these digital businesses, so we see lots of signals on how people are choosing to respond to the advertising we put out there across all the different channels. We take pretty seriously measurement in every level, trying to be thorough and comprehensive and flexible and agile about collecting all the demand signals that we can see across this different advertising, and using it to really let those demand signals power our next move. So the ads that are out there that are great, that are driving great response, we iterate more towards those. The things we put out there that are not, we do less of that. And so it orients everyone. All the artists and all the nerds get together. We've got one goal. And with that one goal, everyone's able to move pretty freely toward driving things that move consumers towards our brands. We think it's a pretty big competitive advantage to have an in-house agency. So we have 5 brands. We have enough scale to do that. And we do that in a pretty intentional way. We do work with, of course, outside media partners and some outside agencies, and I'll speak about that in a moment. But we run pretty robust programs end-to-end on creative concepting and development, media buying, deep media buying expertise in-house across every media channel you can imagine, digital and offline as well. And so what happens when you've got this whole in-house operation is speed happens because everybody's working toward the same goal. It's also less expensive because every time you have another outside agency, there's a markup. People need to get paid. People are running businesses. They need to get paid for that work. So the ability to do it all in-house has a cost advantage, which is nice. But I think the even more important outcome here is being serious about building all the skill sets in-house. Gives you, again, the flexibility to amplify your efforts with outside parties where it makes sense to do so, but to have a lot of ownership and flexibility and speed about the way we approach our work. Here's a little visual on sort of how that operation is built. And I think the important thing to note here is how much data is very foundational to all of this work. So we have our measurement team, our media measurement team, that's actively working with all the creative teams, actively giving them feedback on which ads are working and which ads aren't working so well, and which ad formats look like they're driving the most activity and engagement, so that we move our efforts towards making sure that we're working in the right formats and so forth. And of course, the measurement team is also supporting deep partnerships with each of those media buying teams that are organized by media channel. I like to think, that our team is not just the team of people that report up through the TechStyle organization, but we're very, very active with our media partners. TechStyle is generally the first one to test new ad formats as they come online from Google, from Facebook, from Pinterest. We work closely also with the trade desk to do programmatic outside of social channels. We work really closely with these people. So there's, some of the smartest people on the planet are in these companies trying to build better ad formats. And so we listen. We spend a lot of time thinking about what are the learning agendas within these media partners and how can TechStyle tap in and do the right work to meet people where they're at and give them great ads. We use the best tools. We're happy with the choices that we've made. You can see some of those folks here. Free advertising for those guys, you're welcome. But these are some of the tools that we use to make our buying more efficient. And we do selectively work with agencies to help amplify our efforts. You see a few of those here. And again, with each of these different groups, it's a pretty deep partnership. We think of them as an extension of our team as we go out and try to do the right advertising. So I've talked to you about data-driven advertising and how it sets people free. What I want to take you to next is how that looks, how that shows up from the ads that people actually see in real life. So we do a lot of creative testing. You may have noticed at the page, a couple pages back, we put up on Facebook, Instagram alone, almost 100,000 ads last year across the brands. So what happens when you do that is you don't get super wed to any one thing. We just do a lot of creative testing. And we do it not only a lot of different creative concepts, but across every ad format you can imagine. Stories exploded starting about 2 years ago. We were one of the first advertisers on Instagram stories and continue to put a lot of effort there. There's many different ways you can use a carousel ad. We do all of that work, and of course have the good old-fashioned photo posts as well. We take that seriously, trying to get in there with all of the different ad formats as they emerge. I'll tell you a secret. It turns out whatever's new on the part of Facebook and Google, there tends to be, for a moment, a little bit of a pricing advantage as they're trying to learn about new things. So you can also get paid a little bit for being on the cutting edge of testing with these partners. So would encourage that as a general practice if you've got a team that can roll that way. Here's video is a really important part of what's happening in advertising. And the way we're thinking about video, I'm about to show you one here. The way we're thinking about video is trying to create video that gives us a lot of flexibility to cover a lot of different advertising surfaces. We've got vertical, horizontal, long, short, a whole bunch of different videos. So here's an example. I want you to think about how many different ways you could slice this.
At Fabletics, we're known for leggings that look as good as they feel and perform as well as they fit. We have leggings for every shape and size. With new cuts, colors, and styles to choose from, our high-performance fabrics are designed to keep you cool, dry, and comfortable during every workout or activity, because our leggings are cute and capable. And now our bras are too, with new styles, more features, and 3 different levels of support. And right now, your first 2 pairs of leggings are just $24, only at Fabletics.com.
So that's an ad. It's a simple video. You see we're really sort of focused in on the product there. That's an ad. I can make that 30 seconds, 10 seconds, everything in between. We can make it vertical, we can make it horizontal, we can put it on YouTube, we can put it on TV, we can put it on Facebook, and we've in fact done all of those things. So we think about video concepting at scale when you're trying to get a lot of creative testing velocity as trying to create, very often, not always, we have other videos as well, but having sort of a stable of video that's highly fungible that allows a lot of creative iteration and testing. And that's one example of a video that does just that. Here's another simple one. That one's vertical, you can see. So it's just a rotation of shoes. So we can pick the best sellers each month and slot them in and put those out there and let people discover our latest assortments. One of the other things that I think is actually just awesome in the world, we're really leaning into it at TechStyle, but I actually think it's just sort of a cultural moment that's fun and interesting, is there's a lot that's happening with influencers. And so we're leaned way, way in. We do work across the full spectrum, from sort of nano all the way up to household names like Rihanna, who are founders of brands within the TechStyle portfolio. And what we find is that this is an important way of how people want to discover new brands in 2019. And so we're excited to do that. But anchoring back to the title of this presentation about working without fear, it takes a fearless attitude, I think, to basically pass the baton on some of your creative engines. So we've got an army. We're touching more than 1,000 people every month across the TechStyle portfolio of people up and down that spectrum, and they're content creating with guidelines, yes. Do we look at things before they get posted? Yes. But we're fundamentally giving a lot of freedom to a lot of people to help us creatively pursue telling the stories of our brands. Here's another example. I spoke with you about video and the ability to create things that are very flexible and where you can use them in advertising surfaces. Here's an example. This is Kelly Rowland, a partnership that we did on the Fabletics brand. Another example of similar to what you saw before that was just product focused, but this is product putting it in the perspective of a person, of a personality. Take a peek.
Introducing the all-new Kelly Rowland for Fabletics collection.
My career as a performer, as a dancer, has completely inspired this collection. When women put this collection on, I want them to feel strong. There is something for every woman and every beautiful curve and every beautiful body out there. I want women to feel powerful. That's the feeling of Fabletics.
Shop the entire collection now at Fabletics.com and get your first 2-piece outfit for just $24.
Go hard or go home. It's time to be bold.
So this example with Kelly is of course, that was shot in a studio. We were very involved in that one. But we have people up and down that influencer spectrum, creating really similar types of content that's out there in the world on all of these social platforms that we do business with, that we're all engaged with in our different lives. And it's a powerful way to tell your brand story so that it's not just the product, but the product in real life with a personality that many people can relate to. So that's important. The next page is a super fun one. if it's gonna come up here. All right, I don't know if I can make it move. If you can help me in the back, it's animated, so all these might move for you. This is a party. So this is going to be another secret, benefit of coming to CommerceNext. You get some secrets. This is a party. So what we did, whoops. You can imagine all these things moving. It's okay. Oh, there it is. So we did a party. We did it in March. We called it March Adness, not March Madness, March Adness. But we basically put out a prize. We said whichever employee puts out the ad that drives the most customer acquisition is going to win $1,000. And then we put out some samples. There's shoes here. And then we popped some champagne. We invited our partners from Instagram, love those guys. They came in and did story school. Quick show of hands, has anyone been story schooled? A few of you. They went on a story school tour, so you may have, if you've got Facebook and Instagram reps, they may have story schooled you. But they came in and sat in the bleachers at TechStyle, and anyone who wanted to participate came, and they got story schooled, which basically was a fun little interactive session where they learned all the tips and tricks of how to use the functionality directly within Instagram stories to create small videos. So everybody got story schooled, and then we just had an afternoon of fun. We had over 500 pieces of content that were created that we actually put up as ads on Instagram stories for our Shoe Dazzle and Just Fab brands. And the winner won a prize. So this was it's so easy. Another example of sort of democratizing the creative production process. We just invited our employees to do it while drinking, right? Kind of fun. But we got great content. You can see some of these things moving. Those of you who use Instagram stories can imagine this showing up in your story feed. Another example of, again, we anchored, the winner of the prize was not what I liked best. It wasn't what my creative director liked best. It was which ad moved people the most, which ad actually drove the customer acquisition of new VIPs, when people responded to it when we ran it as an Instagram story ad. So I think that's just perhaps the best illustration of just inviting people in to bring your brands to life. All right, you saw it earlier, but I want to just end here and implore you all. We have a real opportunity in 2019. The data is out there. If you're running a digital business, you can hook yourself up to be able to see a lot of the data of what people are responding to. And we have the opportunity to be empathetic. People deserve good advertising. And employees deserve a fun place to work. And so if we can orient all of our energy toward naming the goal that matters for your business, maybe it's not customer acquisition, I don't know what it is. But if it is, name the goal, figure out how to measure it, and set the people free, and give them good ads. And when we do this work right, when we really sort of harness our data and do it in a highly empathetic way, you can create a lot of brand love and a lot of employee love. So I wish you all great luck in that journey, and thank you for your time today. Thank you, sir.